Groundhog Day is a movie about life. When we are introduced to Phil, we see him standing in front of a blue screen as he does the weather. This is where we meet our character to show him living an artificial life. He's not experiencing anything, instead, he is just existing. He is interested only in himself and what will make his life better, not about anybody else. I think that it is fitting that he shares the same name as the groundhog, something that everybody in the city cares about and loves. In the same light, people try and reach out and care about Phil, that is Phil the weatherman, but he is too caught up in himself to notice or care about others even when it is about him. On the first day, that is before the day repeats itself, Phil already feels like he has experienced the groundhog's emergence once too many times.
Then it's the same old shtick every year. The guy comes out with a big stick and raps on the door. They pull the little rat out, they talk to him, the rat talks back, and then they tell us what's going to happen.
He knows how the ceremony works and doesn't think there is any real reason to be there. When his day starts to repeat and every day is just like the last, we must ask ourselves, is this really any different from how he has been living his life up to this point? Every day seems to be exactly the same. He goes to work, he goes to home, and has nothing substantial in his life. This movie is a critique of everyday life. Think about why you do anything. Is it to try and achieve something and make something great out of yourself? Or is it to get to the next place where you have to be? This is a movie about what causes a change in life. What can make you go from doing your same boring schedule every single day into doing things that make you feel better and make those around you feel better? According to this movie, that thing is love. Once Phil is able to step out of his own self-centered life, he is able to appreciate things that he never even considered or thought about before. What is interesting in this movie is how we see the different phases of Phil's journey and how they correspond to the evolution and growth through life. Now, obviously everyone is going to have a different set of experiences in their life, but the order in which Phil goes through these is directly correlated to a stereotypical growth through life. When he first realizes his life is in a constant loop, he tries to understand it. This is his development and early education phase. It's him trying to grasp who he is in the situation that he is placed in. At this point, he is self-centered and interested only in himself. Next, his selfishness continues and develops as he realizes that there is no way out of this, and he decides to take advantage of the situation in the worst way possible, putting himself above everybody else and living the way he wants. He is reckless, he is selfish, he doesn't care about anybody else, but instead only about himself. This is when he decides to make the rules of his own life. He doesn't want to behave like everyone else, but instead, he wants to do things his own way. He lives his life in the most literal way possible, like there is no tomorrow. The only thing that breaks this self-centered, carefree life is ambition. For some people, that could be work, but for Phil, that is love. I don't think that it's a coincidence that the song that wakes up every day is a love song. Once he gets to know Rita and starts to care for her, he does everything in his ability to prove to her that is true. But he is doing it for the wrong reasons. He doesn't want to actually get to know her and love her. Instead, he just wants to sleep with her. Every waking minute he spends is dedicated to her, yet this dedication starts to take a physical toll on him, gradually beating him down, literally, until he is left with nothing. I think that this correlates to somebody's career. It's a cynical approach to looking at everyday life of someone, but is it that far off? Upon realizing that his life is unreachable, he gives up on life. However, unlike his rebellious phase he went through earlier, he has given up on that too. Instead, he just wants it to end. His life is one big cycle with no beginning and no end. Upon realizing this, he becomes suicidal, trying everything in his power to end this loop, but he fails. He comes to find that it is darkest before the dawn, and after his suicidal streak, he starts to realize that there is more to life than just centering around himself. For the first however many thousand times he went through this day, the only thing that changed was what he was doing. He didn't care about others, he only cared about himself. It was still the same old him. He didn't go through any major changes. Yet, after his first good day spent with Rita, he begins to see life as something else, as a way for him to improve others' lives in their day. It's only through changing himself and becoming a better person is he able to change the outcome of the day, or in this case, in a bigger note, his life. This movie takes a lot of inspiration from different philosophical movements